Welcome back everyone to another episode of Close to Broke. I wanted to take today's episode and thank you all personally before we dive into it for the unbelievable and unrivaled support on the first video that we posted, nearly getting 1,000 views in the first 24 hours. I mean, complete insanity if I'm being fair. Now it is time to go back to Vegas. We have about a 4-hour trip back up. We're gonna be staying not at a hotel but at our family's house out there. We'll be there from today, which is Wednesday, all the way until Sunday, playing the WSOP as well as probably playing live poker at the Bellagio. I'll take you guys with me and let's get a poker vlog out of it. So, welcome back everyone. Just made it to Vegas, here at the fam's house. Looking to do some stuff, having a bunch of issues on WSOP's website yet again, so looks like we're gonna go play some live poker, which is great for you guys, but kind of sucks for me. Wanted to play some tournaments. Hopefully I can figure all this out though. Heading over to the Bellagio to try to get into a 5-10 game. We will see how that goes. Otherwise I will keep you guys in the know. Names on the board for the 5-10, and you have to be in person to utilize the 5-10-20, or excuse me, the 10-20 game. So, heading down. We end up at the Bellagio. We get our name down on the 5-10 game, but we ended up playing in the 10-20 that you had to be in person to register for or put your name on the board, excuse me. So after playing 5-10 for I'd say about an hour, we end up playing at the 10-20 game. And as you'll see as I start discussing the hands, the 10-20 game rapidly turns into a 10-20-40 game. It was pretty insane. A swingy session to say the least. But let me hop right into these hands. And again, using the cheat sheet, sorry. Button opens to 60. Here on the big blind, obviously myself, we make the call. Flop is 10-7-6 rainbow. I check, he bets 80. I call. On the turn, it's an 8 of clubs. I actually lead for 340, and he tanks for quite a bit of time, and he decides to fold. And this seems like a really simple hand, but I do want to break down a couple of interesting things that occurred in this hand. So let's start with the basics of it. You know, pre-flop action, we're at $130 in the pot. Once we get to the flop, on the flop he bets 80, and I call the 80. That's 160. It's 290 in the pot already. On a board texture like this, I think the best hand that he can have. I guess I shouldn't frame it that way, but the range that I can put him on for value includes sets, of course. But a lot of his hands are top pairs, and good top pairs at that. So like Ace 10, King 10 are at the absolute top of range, I think, from opening a button, especially. And I don't mean that he can never show up with aces, kings, queens, jacks here. But one thing is that I'm blocking queens and jacks. And another key factor is that I think that this player in a 6-handed game, probably one of the best players at the table, if not the best player at the table, is going to have a button opening range near 60 to 80%, considering limping is just not an option in this game, not for the pros at least. So with that being said, it's not that I'm discrediting all aces, queens, kings, jacks, 10 sets from his range. It's just that his range is so wide that I think the best hands he's going to end up with here more frequently would be like Ace 10, King 10, Queen 10. All of that being said, very long-winded, I know, but stay with me here. I think I can outplay him post-flop. Not that I think I'm a better player, but I think that this board texture will be better, more favorable for my range. And that's why I decided to take over initiative, take over the betting lead on the turn by leading turn pot. And by leading turn pot, I leave myself a 1-to-1 SPR, so 1-to-1 stack to pot ratio for the river so that I can jam on the river, leaving myself just around pot or just over pot. No matter what the river came, I had the intention on bonding it because I have more 9s in my range than he does. And not only that, but I think if a 9 comes, I'm also jamming anyways. There'd be a straight on the board. Any jack makes a straight, and I'd have the nut straight jack. The nut straight on the river if a 9 came. Really long-winded. I'm really sorry if a hand that boring was overwhelming, but hopefully you got a little bit of knowledge from that. So quick update here. I guess this is midway through the session. It's been a little rocky. We're around $1,400 now. Yeah, it's been a little rocky, but we'll figure it out. As you guys have seen, it's been kind of loopy in a few spots, and I think that I'm just going to tighten up my range here. Just play kind of ABC poker, honestly. The players are actually good in this, as opposed to my last video where I said players think they're good, but they're not as good. No, players are actually talented. They know what they're doing. So there's like a few spots in the game, and I'm just going to take advantage of those spots and keep checking on through. Hopefully I have good news when I check in with you guys after this. OMC opens to $60 under the gun. I'm next to, $80, big difference. Under the gun OMC opens to $80. I'm under the gun 1 and I make it $300. I'm playing with the stack in the realm of around $1,000 in this 10-20 game. Again, I have to figure this out, but my ATM limits are wonky. Not only that, but Wells Fargo in Las Vegas closes at like 4 o'clock. It's not a good time. He tanks forever, and I mean forever, and then jams all in. I mean, I'm not investing 30% of my stack to fold, so I go ahead and call. He asks me how many times I want to run it. I say twice. The board comes jack high on the first one. I have pocket jacks. And on the second board, it comes ace high, but there was a jack on the turn anyways. Ace on the river, jack on the turn. So we scooped the pot because he had ace king offsuit. Next hand we got going on here, under the gun makes it 60. I'm in the cutoff and I make it 180 with pocket queens. The villain does call. The flop comes 10 of spades, 9 of clubs, 3 of diamonds. I down bet to 160 here and the villain calls. The reason I'm down betting on this flop is because I want to be around 40% and I want to allow myself to be able to barrel this flop at a higher frequency. Having hands like ace king suited, so ace king spades, clubs, or diamonds, and be able to see bet at this sizing is more profitable than me making it like 80% pot because I'm protecting queens. Like, you just don't need much protection on a rainbowed flop. I'm blocking queen jack. I'm double blocking queen jack at that, and jack 8 suited probably not going to appeal, or an open pre-flop in a 6-handed game maybe. But even then, from another gun player, opening jack 8 is just not likely, right? So you have to consider these things, especially with playing live poker and the fact that it's short-handed now. A lot of things to consider. So I decided to go 40% pot here because I want to allow myself to have other c-bets that are not pocket queens. Like I said, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, a lot of those hands that I'd like to barrel off with. Anyways, he does make the call. The turn is the 8 of clubs. So now the board's getting obviously much more worrisome. But again, because I'm double blocking queen jack, and that's pretty much the only hand that I'm really scared of that I'm not getting snap raised on the flop against. Some of his hands do improve to 2 pairs. So 8-9 suited, it's 4 combos of those. 10-8 suited, 4 more combos of those. But I think a lot of his hands still are weighted to ace 10, jack 10, king 10, a lot of those holdings. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to target that range, and I bet 280 here. And again, I want to keep his calling range just wide enough. There's no reason to polarize on a turn like this. My hand is far from the nuts, obviously, but it does give me some safe feeling knowing that a jack will give me the straight. But again, I bet 280. And he does think about it for a second and decides to fold. But I'm pretty happy with the way that hand went down. Obviously, winning it is great, but I think I maximized value there against his given hand. I'm going to guess that he had maybe a hand like king jack and was just looking to spike something on the turn, and it just didn't come through. That's the best. I think that's my best guess would be. is that he had king jack. Here's gonna be the best hand of the day, the wacky hand of the day, if you will. I'm the straddle, so the 10, 20, 40 game is alive and well. Small blind limps, big blind folds. I look down at pocket eights in the straddle. I make it 140, but I accidentally exposed my hand trying to signal to the button that it was 40 and not 20. It's confusing, but I was trying. This was the OMC, by the way, that I was signaling to. I was trying to take my left hand that was protecting my cards like this off to reach towards the chip in front of me and show him that, you know, I was like doing this whole theater thing, which was like trying to show him that, you know, you need more chips. And of course, in doing so, my hands were just so clammy or something that I picked up my cards on accident and flipped them over right on their backs. And oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. From what I think happened, because it was so quick, was that the 8 of hearts I think I had, it was a red 8, was exposed on top. And I was able to kind of finesse that back over. I covered it and then I peeled it back. But the gentleman in the big blind to my right was like, I guess I'll just fold. And the small blind had already called it by the time. And it's just a crazy, crazy hand. I mean, this has only happened like once before ever when I played. And it's just something that maybe it's because I haven't played live in so long, but it was just so, it was so unorthodox the way the whole thing happened. But anyways, back to the hand. With the fact that I feel like the small blind might know what my hand is, I still feel like I have to play my hand the way it is. I'd ISO, you know, in the same instance if he didn't know my hand, right? I don't know. I can only assume that he knows my hand, I guess. So I do make it 140, and he does call. The flop is ace 7 6 rainbow. It does check through. The turn is a 3 of clubs, now putting the backdoor flush draw as well as completing the straight 4-5. He goes ahead and leads for 160. I make the call. I don't think I can just fold at this point, having second pair here, middle pair. The river is another 7, pairing the second card. He bets 280. So at this point, I am absolutely bewildered. I don't know where to go with the hand. I think the thing that I was thinking of was mostly like, do I think he saw my hand? And if I do think he saw my hand, how much did he see? Did he see the whole action go over? It's possible that he had mistaken my 8 for a 7. If he does, how can he bet this river? Are we just like on different? I was like leveling myself to a different planet. But after like pondering over for what seemed like an eternity, I ended up making the call solely thinking that I think he knows I have pocket eights and he's putting me in a spot here. And not only that, I don't know, maybe I'm just a calling station. I was going to try to reason with you guys and say, hey, he can have 4 or 5 here. He can have that as his value. But I don't think he's going to be going for this sizing with an ace on the river. Maybe he'd leave the betting to me and calling with an ace. So, I think I'm just a station. I end up calling. He shows king 9 offsuit, and we end up scooping that pot as well. So here's another really big hand of the night. The banger of the night, if I may be fair. I open Jack under the gun for $60. Under the gun 1 makes it 160, and I call. The flop is 10-3 deuce rainbow. I check and he bets 280. I call. Their turn is the 8 of spades. I check again and he bets 520, and again I call. So let's bring you up to speed to this part of the hand. I think everything that's happened so far is about par. I think he's only representing hands like aces and kings by the turn here, and I can still see him making some bluffs with ace king and ace queen. I think he'll barrel off just by the player profile and again the dynamics before this hand had occurred. He was super tilted at the fact that he didn't get a seat fast enough because they were disinfecting his seat because those are the new protocols. I mean, all this stuff was going on. So maybe again, because I'm a calling station, I'm reaching for a reason to make these calls. But with all that being said, I do make the call. The river comes, the deuce of diamonds. And like Norman Chad always says, the deuce of diamonds doesn't change a thing. So with that being said, if I'm calling the turn, I have to call the river. I check to him and he bets 11-20. I tank for some time, but I think with everything considered, I just believe that this is a spot where I just can't make the fold. I decide to call, and he shows ace-9 offsuit for the 4-barrel bluff. It feels good to pick one off because I feel like I'm the one that's always getting picked off. But again, it's good to see that people bluff in these higher stakes. 10, 20, 40 people bluff, believe it or not. It is a real thing. So just quickly gonna go over a quick, just checking in really. What a wacky turn of events. A lot of fun though. At 3.9K since the last time we checked in. Let's keep on building it. A little bit of a crazy level, but we'll go over that more, or we already did go over that, so The very last hand to discuss is a very simple hand, but I do think that there is some notes to take away from it. The straddle is on. Under the gun makes it 120. I'm on the button. I do decide in a straddled game that's 6-handed, I will definitely be defending my button a little wider. I have king 7 of clubs here. I do defend the button here. Straddle does complete as well. The flop is king of hearts, 5 of hearts, 3 of clubs. A pretty great flop, all things considered. Straddle does check to the initial raiser, who does c-bet 160. Everyone calls. The turn is the ace of clubs. It checks to me, and here's where I'm set with a decision. Once it checks to me, this is a spot where IR, so initial raiser, should just be barreling. This is a card that's supposed to favor his range 100% of the time, and if I was in his shoes, it'd be a scare card that I'd be using to my advantage. He doesn't. With all that being considered, I think it's now time for me to take over initiative in this pot, take over the betting lead, and take advantage of the hand I'm being dealt here. By playing my range as opposed to my hand, I think I give myself a better chance of winning this hand, and then give myself a better chance in the next X hours of playing against these people by having this exact move in this range that I'm creating. I go ahead and bet 420 on this turn. I'm now merging my range. I think I can get called by some flush draws, and I can definitely get folds from like king jacks and king 10s. And by betting this big, I'm allowing myself to 3-barrel on the river, giving up, like if a blank comes on the river, I think I have all the 2 pairs. I think I'm crushing this flop. I have the pocket 5s. I have, ace X. I have like the ace X's of clubs. All these like wonderful value combos I'll have in my range as opposed to their ranges, just considering the way it's played out. So I bomb the turn for 420, and both players fold pretty quickly. And I think that's again something, just because you had top pair and a scare card comes on the turn, just realize what's happening in front of you. If IR decides to not continue on a card that's supposed to be better for his range, I think sometimes you have to consider taking over the betting lead. And in this case, I do so. And again, I think the bet that I'm posing on the turn here will get better kings to fold, as well as at the same time getting inferior hands like flush draws. Obviously, they do have equity against my hand, but I'm getting them to call as well. So, food for thought. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. That is literally all I've got for you guys. If you have any more questions or have any other concerns or comments, leave them down in the description or the comment box below. Read the description if you haven't already. All of our social medias are linked in there. If you guys are going to be in Vegas during the WSOP at any point and have a mask, I'd love to meet up with you guys. If you guys want to poke my brain for anything poker related, again, check out those links in the bio. Hit me up in my comments and my DMs. I love answering poker related questions. Anything really. I just need somebody to talk to. I mean, I'm pretty bored sitting at home, and considering I'm in Los Angeles, I've been locked down yet again. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the super high stakes, or I guess kind of high stakes, playing 10, 20, 40 today. If you made it this far of the video, comment something goofy down below. I really don't care. If you want to talk about my tick that I do have, I guess that's fun too. It's all in good fun. Make sure to like the video. That helps out a lot. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I mean, it'd mean a lot to me, and it helped this channel continue to grow. I hope in the next couple of videos you guys will get a better opportunity to meet BJ, as well as Christian, as well as a lot of the other people from Close to Broke. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I can bribe you guys with today. Again, like, comment, subscribe, follow the social medias down below. If you guys want to be featured in an episode of Close to Broke, send me some cool clips via my Instagram, and I'll throw them on the video to add you guys to the community. Anyways, so the next time, I didn't do the adding of how much we were in for 1,800 and we were out for 5,245. So whatever that math is. Anyways, guys, love having you here. We're gonna try to bring some more high stakes stuff. Oh, and the WSOP stuff, I busted 4 bullets. So I busted the 1K, the 500, the 500, and the 500. Yeah. So like down 2K in the WSOP this weekend. See you guys on the next one. Peace.